Now, James, I want to put your Queenslander hat on here because there was a poll, a YouGov poll, suggesting that, the LNP is now leading in the race for the government towards the end of the year. However, still preferred Premier by some margin is Annastacia Palaszczuk. So half full, half empty, depending on your perspective. Let's go for the half full, which here is a YouGov poll has shown a 3.2% swing to the LNP, which now leads 52-48 over the Labor Party. Labor Party's primary vote has fallen to 35%, from 35 at the 2017 election to now 32%. The LNP has gone from 33 to 38%. Now, if those numbers were real, what happens come election towards the end of the year, James?
Oh, if those numbers were real, we would have Deb Frecklington as Premier, and the nightmare that is Jackie Trad would not be happening, because Jackie Trad would be, still hiding under the doona somewhere. It is very important, with the remaining about 150 days until the election on October 31, that we understand it is actually so close here in Queensland, so close, because remember history. Labor have been in power for 25 out of the last 30 years. So 25 out of 30 years Labor have been in power. Secondly, you've got the Labor machine. And it is a brutal Armageddon-bringing machine. They will do anything, say anything, they will lie, they will cheat, they'll sell your grandmother's fillings to make sure that they stay in power. Look at the changes they did to the voting system before the 17 election. Look at the banning of developer donation money. Look at all of the stuff they're doing. They're going to bring in spending caps, but allow the unions, of course, to spend up to $26 million. So this is going to be like the Fall of Saigon in a marriage with the sack of Rome. It is going to be an ugly election campaign, because Labor know that we can win this election. We've got the best candidates out in the field. We've got people out there who've given up their jobs, sacrificing everything, because they want to make sure that Queensland has a better future ahead of us from 1st of November this year. Because if we don't do it, you're going to have 4 years of Labor. So anybody out there, you've got any spare time, I'm going to do get out there, contact your LNP candidate and get out door knocking once we're allowed to do that. I think it's still frowned upon. Deliver leaflets, wave signs. We don't want Trad becoming Premier by Easter next year.
But look, Labor's clearly going to say the advantage that they have in all of this is Palaszczuk is well and truly over Frecklington as preferred Premier. They'll run a presidential campaign. Remember the last one where basically the cabinet didn't exist and it was Annastacia everywhere. And look, I don't think they can run against Campbell Newman for the 78th time, but they'll probably try. So what happens when they try to make this all about, if 2/3 of people don't have the preference for the potential incoming Premier, how much of this becomes this sort of reverse referendum and they try to, for want of a better term, shorten Frecklington?
Well, look, it's not unusual for opposition leaders to be sort of relatively unknown or not as popular as the Prime Minister. You can think about Mr Howard as the prime example there. What we've got to do here in Queensland is if they want to run a presidential campaign on Palaszczuk, I'm going to 3 words: bring it on. I want to campaign on Palaszczuk, because she has been the worst Premier of this state since we got self-government, 150, 160 years ago, whenever it was. She is a terrible Premier. So if they want to make it about her, let's do it. Let's make it about her. Her lack of ability to make decisions, her dithering about everything, the fact that she's in some witness protection program for 6 days out of 7 days a week, except when she does press conferences. I'd love to make it about her, because the buck's got to stop with someone for the damage that's been done to the state for Labor being in power for 25 out of the last 30 years.